Let's talk about Next.js. So Next.js is a framework for building websites and apps with React. So React is a library that basically all React does is it takes your data and it puts it into templates and it renders that out to the page. And when your data changes, it will update the thing on the page. And that's it. And then Next.js is an entire framework. It does routing, linking from page to page, lazy loading. It's starting to do images now, which is really cool. It does server-side rendering. So you can render React on the server. It does static or pre-rendering. Does a whole bunch of really cool stuff. And it's just a really slick framework for creating a website or an app. What I've got open here is I've gone into the front end directory of what we're working with. And then I've opened that up in our VS Code. And you're going to see a whole bunch of folders in here. And I know some of you are thinking, Wes, don't give me too much starter files. I want to be able to code it myself. I want a refund. Well, there's nothing in here. There's a couple styles, which is we're not going to sit here and write the CSS all day. We will write some of the CSS. The lib, nothing in there. Node modules, that's everything we npm installed. Pages, nothing in there. These git keep files are just so that I can put an empty folder into Git. What else do we got here? We got our public folder. There's a favicon, which is that a little bit of CSS for one of the plugins we're using, and then a font that we're using on the website, and that is it. And that's what I really like about Next.js is that you can just create pages and then it will go ahead and work. So let's go into our pages directory here, and I'm going to make an index.js. And you'll notice that I did a lowercase I on there. Normally when we create components in React, we put a capital on there, and that's because that denotes them as reusable components. In this case, it's just a page. And that index.js will be very similar to how HTML works. It'll be our index.html. And then what you do in each of your pages is you export a React function, and that will be what shows up on the page. So if we say export default function, and in here, we'll just return a div and we'll put a paragraph that says hello in it. Now, in order to start it, let's take a look at our package.json and we'll go to our scripts. You'll see we've got dev, which is our dev command. We have our build command, which is what you run before you deploy it. You have your start command, which is what you use to run it in production. That goes on your server. And then we have testing, and sometimes there's going to be you might not see these by now. It depends on what we do by the end of the course. So in order to run it, you've already gone and done npm install right, and then we run npm run dev, and that will in turn run next. I'm running it on port 7777. Open it up. It takes a real quick second to sort of start up Next.js. And there you go. You see we have hello in there. So the pages in Next.js they do what's called file system based routing. If you've taken maybe one of my beginner JavaScript course where we use React Router, that is like config based, where we have like a React Router component. And in this case, we simply just create a page and the page will show up. So if we take a look at our other versions here, we've got our index page. We've got our products page, we have our sell page, we have our orders page, we have our account page, and that is it. So let's go ahead and make those really quickly. Oh, one more thing, actually, what I should do is this is currently an anonymous function, and we should name that just so that if we ever have debugging errors that it's actually named. So we'll call it index page or home page. Doesn't matter what you call it. It's just great for debugging. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new page. We'll call it sell.js. And you just take the copy, paste, and then change that index page to sell. And there are snippets that you can get that will sort of make this much faster. I think it's like React component. Yeah, see something like that. That is a React snippet one. I'm just going to type or copy paste it. So don't email me asking why I'm not using those. Let's also just save that one as orders.js. Was that orders? Let's double check. Yep. And we also have another one called account. Actually, let's change this. We forgot. Let's change it to order page. Let's change this one to account.js. And I believe that is, oh, we also need products. So we'll save the last one as products.js. Okay, so what we've done there is we've created all of our pages. And now if we go to /account or /products, you'll see that it is up and running. One really neat thing that Next.js does is it has hot reloading. So if we were to change this to hey and give it a save, you'll see it immediately changes. That happens with our CSS and our JavaScript. So very rarely on the front end will we need to go back to our terminal and kill it and start it again, just because it will always hot reload it. It will also give you really nice little error messages. Remember, I forgot to name the function here. It gives us these really nice error messages. Hey, it's like, hey, it works, but probably a good idea in order to get better debugging message, give it a name. So I'm a big fan of that. Other things we need to know about Next.js is that it is server rendered, meaning that if you go to a Next.js website and you were to view source on it, this is not true in development mode, but this is true in production mode. If you were to right click view source, you would see all of the HTML for the rendered out production version of that. And then what happens is that React will come and rehydrate it on the front end. So if you go to wesboss.com/about, here, let me show you a real quick example. See this value right here. This is a React component that is incrementing how many milliseconds I've been a developer. And that just every couple of milliseconds, it will then update itself and re-render that part of the page. Now, if you were to view source on this, you say exactly, here we go. See, it says exactly 666 one whatever. And that's awesome because that is good for SEO, and that will render it out if someone has JavaScript turned off or someone scrapes the page or Google crawls it or something like that. So that's the server rendered aspect of JavaScript. And then when it gets to the client, which is the browser, React will pick it up from there, or Next.js will pick it up from there and then make it a React application. That's going to give us really slick like page transitions. You see like here, if I go from page to page, this is not actually reloading the page. It's just swapping out the content that we see. And that's one of the really nice things that Next.js does. Other things we need to know about Next.js is that it is server rendered, like I said, but it also can be statically rendered, meaning that at build time, you could possibly pre-render these pages so that they load really, really quickly. Like, let me show you an example. Let me click on this one right here. I've never been to it before. See, it took like it was really quick, but it took a split second because I had to go to the database and bring the data back and then render it out to the page. What you could do is you could pre-render this whole thing. This is called statically render it. And then when someone visits this page, it will have already been made into HTML, and it just makes your website that much faster. So you can opt into server rendering or static rendering. There are 3 different hooks called get static props, get server side props, and get initial props for data fetching. We'll get into that in the future, but just know sort of that's how it works for now. I think that's a good, very, very high level intro of what Next.js does. In the next couple of videos, we'll get into linking and styling and all that good stuff.